Screen and digital products.
This is Deborah Sexton.
This is Peter Walsh with M&R.
Scott Ritter with the Decorated Apparel Expo.
And you are listening to Two Regular Guys
Podcast.
hosted by Terry Combs and Aaron Montgomery.
A gift to the industry.
All right. Well, thank you, Peter. Welcome to the show. It is Friday, April 10th, 2020. I'm Terry Combs. You can find me at terrycombs.com.
Yes, and we are a gift, Terry. You are a gift, sir. Thank you for being here.
As are you, my friend.
Oh, yeah, awesome. Well, my name is Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me over at oursuccessgroup.com. Today, Terry and I are going to be talking about the landscape of a post-pandemic decorators community. So we are, going to do a little prognosticating. I think I'm still trying to find the best word, but that seems to come up.
That's what we do, right? I mean, that's part of this show.
Yeah. Yesterday on a live I was doing, I actually said we're going to dust off our crystal ball, and then I pluralized that. So
we're dropping off of podcasts as we speak now.
Exactly.
Banned.
I stopped right there. So we're gonna, but here's what we need is we need you guys, though. I mean, we're gonna give you our thoughts and suggestions, but really what we need are the regulators, the community here to step up, right. and let's hear what you guys think. What changes are going to be out there? We're looking for what positives are coming out of this, and you can already see just in general some interesting positives. I was looking at some stuff, and they were saying that you can finally see. And I just forgot the mountain that they can't see over in India anymore. Oh boy.
Anyhow. It's okay. You can call it anything. No one's going to know.
Yeah. So for like the first time in 30 years, they could see the Himalayas. That's what it was. Because, India is on lockdown. And so all the pollution has subsided. So, hey, finding that silver lining is what we're going to be trying to talk about here today. So let's see who all's checking in with us here this morning. Christine, good morning. And Todd, good morning. And we have our own Eric Campbell, the man, the myth, the legend. He is working the comments for us, plus working the board for us. So I don't know what to do with my hands.
Aaron, and he's hurting too, because the dance clubs where he DJs, Rich, the
oh my God. You can mute him anytime, Eric.
my picture's gonna disappear at any moment here.
Exactly. Yeah, here we go again. So Tom
performing live here tonight, Rich.
All right. Well, Tom is checking in. Good morning, Tom. And Sarah, good morning. And Wade and Linda, we could go on and on. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And again, we really want to hear feedback from you guys. We want to know what your thoughts are. We're going to cover a couple of points and give our opinions. But while we're doing that, we want you guys to be giving your opinion. So this is a community program. The regulators, we know you're going to step up today. So we're excited about that. Quick news items here, Terry, before we move on, though. Omniprint is presenting a creators boardroom digital conference. So Omniprint International presents Creators Boardroom Digital Conference on April 16th. The live stream event features several guest speakers from around the decorated apparel industry. The event kicks off at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And they're on Pacific time, so they're going to say everything Pacific time. I don't know what time that is, East or Central time, because I think the world should revolve around Eastern time. I'm kidding. So 3 p.m. Pacific time with presentations every half hour. The event concludes with a Q&A session at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. So nice long event there. You can jump in and digitally be part of that. So check that out. In fact, Eric already has the link there in the comments. Look at that guy.
Very nice. Hey, despite the fact that I called him Rich,
rapper. Yeah, exactly. So, virtual DJ session on Instagram brought to you by Rich. Todd says, "I am signing up for that."
Well, and you were talking about every time you say what time something's going to be, I'm like, do you mean Central Time? And because you do believe that the world revolves around that. And you commented this morning before the show, well, because nobody knows what time it is in Arizona.
That's right. And I lived there for most of my life. So.
You still don't know what time it is. Exactly. Yeah, because for any new listeners out there, or the regular listeners know that I rant about this, but because in Arizona we choose not to participate in daylight savings time. So
Yeah.
right now we are the same as Pacific time. We are Mountain Standard Time, folks, here in Arizona.
All right, good. So I love what you always say about why you choose not to participate in daylight savings time too.
Because we live in a friggin' desert. We don't need another hour of sunshine.
It's raining sunshine all the time there.
9 inches and no end in sight. 9 inches of sunshine coming down out there. Well, Aaron, we had a great last Friday. We had a great happy hour, the Two Regular Guys happy hour, and in garment creators community, and the who sponsored our group? My Success Group.
Yeah, our successgroup.com. It was the Decorators community virtual cocktail party. So, we had a lot of great folks there from across the industry, but the Decorators community, basically Eric and Terry and myself and all the people that support the Two Regular Guys here, we said, hey, let's have a party, and we did. It was quite a party.
Yeah, and it was great attendance. I mean, Impressions Expo, they were well represented. We had Ryan from Ryanette. We had Lon Winter from Graphic Elements. Now I've started naming people. I should stop that, but
you should stop. Charles was there. I see him in the comments. Todd, and we could go on and on. It was a great group. Cassie from A&E Magazine was there. So
we're going to do it again, Aaron.
Yeah, we are.
April 17th, which is not today. It's a week from today. Yep. We're going to start at 7:00 your time here in Central Time. It'll be 8:00 Eastern Time, and you can find the link on our website. And we have 100 seats in our virtual bar. So make sure you get there early. It's going to be sponsored by Dax. Scott and Margie Ritter are going to sponsor this event, and because on April 15th, the DAX, the virtual trade show starts, and April 15th, I know I'm going to be doing my presentation from the DAX show, and for the following, was it a week and a half, Aaron? That the events will be going on. So all those seminars that we'd be normally doing at the show, we'll be doing online, and I don't know how I'm going to do that, because me, Aaron, I got to get up and walk around. So I like to walk up and down the aisle, point at people, and so we'll see how that works out.
Exactly. It's just like this, Terry. So you'll be okay.
Oh yeah, I guess it is. Yeah,
for sure. So, no, so Scott and I will have the information up there by end of day today. I've got to get that over to Scott so he can send that out to all the DAX folks. So it'll be at the same place though, tworegularguys.com/party. And in fact, you probably could go sign up there right now, but the information's not right. So hang tight.
I'll be right up there at my patio bar. Try to stay on my own screen this time.
There you go. So you will, so that'll be happening. And Terry, you were talking about the virtual seminars. So what DAX is doing is they're doing a bunch of virtual seminars for the folks that have signed up for the actual seminars at DAX, and you can sign up for these still too. So get over to DAX shows, or not DAX show, no S at the end, DAXshow.com. And, so these are just in case kind of things, just in case that Minnesota doesn't happen. And so we'll see, but just extra. Everybody, what we're going to be talking about today, everybody's trying to figure out what this post-pandemic world looks like, and so this is a good.
Aaron, all the folks that are listening in Minnesota right now going, wait, what do you mean Minnesota not happening? I'm here now.
The DAX Minnesota show. Yes, I apologize for not giving you context. Thank you, Terry. All right, so that's we're excited to be a part of that, and appreciate DAX wanting to have a party. So in fact, Scott up there where he's at has very poor internet access, so he says he's going to try to come on, and I told him that I would mute everybody for him to do his he loves getting on the mic at the shows, so
he does indeed. And Scott Ritter, for anybody who doesn't know, is a former radio DJ, so once we put a mic in his hand, we may as well just sit back and
there you go. We're gonna have to have him do our voiceover work. That's a good idea, actually.
He does have a great radio voice, so
all right, good.
Hey Aaron, do you have a dad joke this week?
I do have a dad joke this week.
I thought you might.
All right. So, what kind of shoes do ninjas wear?
What?
Sneakers. Sneakers. Oh, man.
That is a dad joke. Oh,
That
my
is one.
gosh.
That's one of my son's favorites. So he's got a lot of them. His aunt bought him a whole book of jokes. But yeah, so I've got a plenty of them. We'll be able to do this
going
for
through
years.
going, yeah, my dad said this. Yep, my dad said that.
Yeah, checking it off. All right, Dad. Here's the one for next week. Yeah. So,
hey, Aaron, before we jump in, though, we want to thank everyone for checking out the Two Regular Guys podcast. If you're listening to the podcast version of this right now, we would appreciate you sharing with your friends so they can become regulators too. Plus, we would love and appreciate you giving us a review on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, wherever you're listening right now. It's really important to us. If you guys would go there and give us a review, we'd really appreciate it. A positive review would be especially good. We are always, by the way, looking for new guests. If you or anyone you know would like to join us, go to calendly.com/2. That's the number 2, Regular Guys, and give us your show ideas. And we're always looking for new guests. And hey, if you've been on the show before and you've got something else you want to talk about, we'd love to see you as well. If you are watching us live right now, join in with your comments and questions. As Aaron said, this show is about participation. We want to know what you guys are seeing, what you think is going to happen. Maybe you have a prediction on when this pandemic is going to end, and we're all going to be back working full time. I know Aaron and I are longtime work from home guys, so it's just another day in the week for us.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
hey, and by the way, if you're listening to us or watching us right now on Facebook, reach out to your industry friends. Reach out to them and say, hey, jump on to the podcast. We'd love to see some new faces. And what are you really doing right now? Come on. So
Exactly. You're listening to the Two Regular Guys over at facebook.com/2 Regular Guys, the number
that's
2.
the number 2.
Yep. And then Andy, to answer your question, who has more fun with that book? That would be me. I as much as I lament the fact that yes, I do enjoy it quite a bit.
Lewis probably points at it and goes, I don't get this. I don't get this either. What? I'm sorry. Why is this funny, Dad?
Exactly. That's a different book. That's a different book altogether. Lenora, yes. Occasionally we may not want to know. All right. Well, Terry, let's hear a word from our platinum sponsor, Impressions Expo, and we'll be right back. What is Impressions Expo? Impressions Expo, formerly known as ISS, is the premier trade show dedicated to the imprinted and decorated apparel industry. They have 5 shows that are produced annually in each region of the United States, including Long Beach, California, Atlantic City, New Jersey, Orlando, Florida, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and cap off the year at Fort Worth, Texas. Each of those 5 annual shows also feature over 30 seminars and hands-on workshops in categories such as screen printing, embroidery, digitizing, digital decorating, and much, much more. Visit impressionsexpo.com for more details, and while there, use the promo code REGULARGUYSIE for a free expo pass. Again, make sure you visit impressionsexpo.com to get more details, and the Two Regular Guys look forward to seeing you there. Okay, well, thank you very much to the Impressions Expo for their support. And, go over to impressions.com. Is it impressionsexpo.com? Yeah, I'm sorry, impressionsexpo.com. And you can check out more information there. Thank you, Eric.
With an exclamation mark at the end there. What?
Yeah, indeed. Go, yes. All right. Well, again, thanks very much to them. I know that they're working really hard to keep the shows going, but also bring you information, content. They're working with Ink Kitchen, doing some really cool things. So definitely want to check them out. We appreciate all the effort and work. And in fact, Marcia talked about the fact that maybe after all this is over, there should be a retreat up there in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Tennessee where she's at. That's some beautiful country up there. So I'm in for that, Marcia.
With the wind chimes ringing in the background.
It was wonderful. I could be at peace up there. That sounds great. So
I've been talking to Marcia a bit this week, and man, those guys are working hard. It's well, like everybody else, it's it's the trickle down effect. For all of us dealing with you know, companies not being there to ship to us, and companies closing. And I talk to people in the industry saying, well, I'm trying to call this company and no one's answering the phone. You go to their website and there's not a link there. And so, hey, it's things are tough, but we've been here before. So and that's something you and I will be talking about, Aaron.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it just takes some juggle and some hustle, and like you said, that's what we're going to be talking about here. So Terry, as we talked about, you guys just bring it all, bring all the comments, bring all your thoughts and stuff. And again, our real goal here is to talk about what the positives that are going to come out of this and what it's going to look like, kind of some of the changes that we need to be thinking about or making. But we also need to kind of understand. So let's start off here, Terry. Let's start off with, who do we think's being hurt worse right now? So I'll let you start there.
Well, Aaron, you remember during the recession, and I'm trying to remember what year it was that
which one?
The most recent one in
2008.
Yeah. And you and I were working trade shows together, and remember all the vendors coming around going, the next show, this is going to turn around, and the next show, it's going to turn around, and it was probably a good year or so before things turned around, because here's what was happening: we were all there exhibiting. People were coming by our booth saying, "Yeah, I'm really interested in doing this, but I'm gonna hold right now because my business isn't very good." And every time I talk to a vendor or a potential customer out there, I think about that all of us were. We're going to turn the corner. It's the next show is going to be it. Long Beach. That's going to be it. And so all of a sudden, I remember you and I talking about this back then, that all of a sudden this vendor wasn't there anymore, and that vendor wasn't there anymore, and that's going to happen this time as well. And so who are those folks? And it's going to be the folks that don't have cash reserves, the folks that weren't prepared for this, the folks who aren't forward thinking about, well, now how can I take advantage of this situation? And I mean that in the best way. I'm not talking about, hey, there are people dying in a pandemic right now, and taking advantage of the situation means it means, what am I going to do to make my business survive? What am I going to do to keep my employees employed? Mm-hmm. So, and there are things you can do, and you see it. I got a flyer from someone that does sublimation printing, Aaron, and something close to your heart. Yeah. And it were those, and you can tell me what they're called, those flags that stand up, and it's and they're like 8 feet long and about.
Oh, like the teardrop banners kind of thing?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And somebody was promoting the line starts here. And I thought, what a great idea. I mean, because I know at my grocery store at Albertsons right down the street from me, for a while, it was blue painter's tape in front of the meat counter, in front of the deli, and stand behind the blue painter's tape. And here's another one. Here's another one. Well, guess what? Right now, they are about 18-inch discs that say, in this time of crisis, please wait here for the next available person at the desk. And I thought, somebody printed those. Somebody went into that store and said, hey, listen, instead of blue painter's tape, let's make a positive message. And here's my idea. And they even have them outside, because I run by there every day, and the store opens at 6 a.m. and there's 40 people waiting outside, for those 38 packages of toilet paper. I don't know where you hoarders are putting this stuff, but but even outside, they're on the sidewalk. Those discs are down on the sidewalk saying, please wait here. And they go all the way down the side of the building. And that's someone who is taking advantage. And again, that's probably not the right term, Aaron, because it sounds like you're doing something wrong, but it's somebody who's seeing a situation and saying, hey, let's do shirts. And that's my example always, is that whenever you see anything happening, all of us decorators should say, hey, let's do shirts.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it's right. And Because here's the interesting part, Terry. If we weren't in the middle of a pandemic right now and we said, oh, taking advantage of, the school winning the championship or the, whatever, that's all the same thing. But yet during those times, that's totally fine. You should totally print shirts for that school championship. Well, this is no different. People have a need. You're filling a need. You're getting creative. Maybe your core business of the schools not being in session and the sports being done and all that kind of stuff has gone. But yeah, why don't you print a sign, or why don't you, work on a shirt? I mean, people need a little levity right now too. So I've seen some really funny shirts and some cool sayings out there. I saw one, in fact, I think it was from Sarah, who's there we go, seizing the opportunity.
Right.
I saw one.
Better said, Todd.
I saw one, pretty sure it was from Sarah here with Moose My Shirts, and I think she's in the comments right now. It was hilarious. It basically had something about the toilet paper shortage, and then it had little marks where you could like cut off, not really, but like showed cut off the shirt here if you need toilet paper, kind of, so again, it is that kind of balancing act between, doing something where you're just completely taking advantage of a bad situation, or you're doing your part to help and support and lift everything up. And
right.
So it is hard. In fact, that is actually going to be the topic of next week's show with Christine Shreve is how do you find that balance selling during a crisis? And,
right.
So looking forward to hearing all that conversation, but I agree with you, Terry. Let's catch a couple of comments and I'll give my opinion about who's being hurt worse right now.
Hey, while you bring those up,
yeah.
my favorite shirt I've seen so far is I've been social distancing for 6 years.
yeah. I was talking to my dad the other day, and he's like, yeah, this social distancing thing, I didn't realize it had a name, but this is just what I do.
Same with me. I live in a 3-bedroom apartment by myself. So.
You're really good at this, Terry. All right. So let's go on up to what Andy had said here. This pandemic has made my dad and I stronger. We have both been thinking outside the box and knowing and know just rolling over isn't an option when you put so much blood, sweat, and tears into a company. 6 years strong. Don't quit, fight on. So there you go. That's the type of person that is going to survive. Is that fight on. Linda says, we have sent home an employee with the task of editing pictures. It should keep them, quote unquote, employed in the short run. Awesome. I mean, coming up with creative ways to, again, keep them employed, but it's still, we all got to get value. We all got to provide value, so if you're just somebody that's like, oh, they there's no work for me. Well, go out there and provide value, make it so that there's an opportunity for you to provide value and get paid for it. So that's,
and let me jump back to the grocery store, because it's actually literally the only place I can go. And
yeah.
Albertsons up the street, which is a Safeway company. And, when I go in there, I always see 2, 3 or more people pulling things off the shelf, sanitizing, putting the stuff back on the shelf. And I thought, they should be wearing shirts that say Albertsons sanitizing crew or whatever.
Sure.
Because, I'm sure most people walk by and don't even notice them. But if they had shirts that said that, then all of a sudden it's like, man, these guys are bending over backwards to make sure I'm safe here. And there's an opportunity. And let me say it one more time. I should do shirts.
I should do shirts. Exactly. All right. Excellent comments coming in. So let's keep going on the comments here, actually, Terry, if you don't mind. Ramona, it's a little ways up there, Eric, if you can find it. Thank you. This guy, Eric, he's amazing. Ramona says, I'm trying to find a secondary niche that can be self-supporting when things calm down. So there it is. That's the same kind of thing. Yes, you're working on it. You're being creative. There's not one right answer, but the fact that you're actually working on it, boom, high five, nice job. Keep that niche will present itself. But you got to keep trying. You can't just stop and go, oh, things are terrible.
And guess what? This won't be the last time this happens. I mean, as we said, 2008, Aaron, we lived this, and with people sitting on their hands, not buying anything, and it wasn't this bad. But on the other hand, 2008 drug into 2009, and I don't think this will. I think this will reach a plateau, and hopefully early summer, and and business will go on as usual, or will it?
Yeah.
Will business go on as usual? And if nothing else, it's a wake up call for everybody who comes out the other end and says, wow, I thought I was prepared for something like this, and I'm back, I'm here, but I need to regroup a little bit about the way I think about my business, because as Terry and Aaron said, we could have a recession in a year that does the same thing. So it's so easy to run a business in good times. So hey, maybe the print quality isn't where it should be, or maybe I didn't deliver on time. Well, guess what? Those are the people who fall out. Those are the people who are going to come July and August, be out there looking for a real job.
Yeah. Yeah.
As opposed to, hey, I'm not going to get a real job. I'm going to be a screen printer.
Yeah. It is a real job. You guys work hard, Terry. You screen print types.
Hey, that's come from the heart, man.
Yeah, I know it. All right. So Christine says there is a difference between attempting to make a profit and profiteering. Yeah. And like I said, I'm excited to hear Christine and her. She's got an amazing lineup of folks lined up for next week. And I will pull that up. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head here right now. For some reason, my brain is not functioning well this morning, but a few too many things going on for me. Lenora says there are many fine lines, and much of it is regional. So
right.
Definitely interesting to see that. Sarah says the local paper got wind of our Southeast Wisconsin is Strong Giving Back project and reached out yesterday to get an interview and get an article in the paper for us. So
fantastic.
Yeah, you getting yourself out there. Marianne says, I am working on a shirt for a customer baton twirling team. They have been doing practice on Zoom. Yeah, we've seen a lot of that. Speaking of Zoom, I just have to, this is totally off the beaten path here, but this was a hilarious story. And it was a true story from somebody here in St. Louis.
We'll be the judge of the hilarity.
Okay.
All right.
Well, to me, it was super hilarious. So apparently this element, all the elementary kids are doing, these Zoom and WebEx meetings and stuff like that with their teachers because they're all being homeschooled now. And apparently this mom had given her kid the phone to do the meeting on, and the kid was doing the meeting. So mom went and jumped in the shower to get ready for the day. And about midway through the shower, apparently the kid comes in with the phone pointing at her going, "How do I turn this off, Mom?" So there's a life lesson right there. So apparently the mom swiped at the phone and knocked it to the ground, and oh man!
Oh my gosh!
We're learning new things all the time.
That was hilarious, by the way.
Thank you.
When my daughter Riley was 5, I came home from work and her mom said, "Riley, tell your father what you did today." She was very stern, and she looked at me and she goes, "Daddy, this is hilarious." I can't remember what she did, but I could not stop laughing. So then we were both in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, you probably were in more trouble than her. That's funny. All right. Next from Eric here at Brilliance, we started the Stay Strong Stitch On movement and have been providing free medical and responder embroidery designs to help everybody keep creating.
That's awesome, Eric. I've seen that online. That's super cool.
Yeah. Dean says just sold a school district to put in the homework bags. So that's awesome.
There you go. Yeah.
Ron says, face this head on. Today is a good day. Learn new skills for the new normal. And I really like that comment, Ron, because, I've been preaching since the start of this that April 15th was my personal thought as to when we get back to normal. And everybody's going, there's no way. We're shut down until and I keep reminding everybody that what I was saying is that we're going to get back to normal. It could be the new normal. It could, so you were kind of talking about this a little bit, Terry, and the shakeout. And so that was the part that I wanted to kind of talk about here. The shakeout that, all of the terrible things that are going on. Like I said, what we're talking about here is the economic and business impact of this. Obviously the pandemic, the deaths and all of this stuff is a super negative thing. And all of our frontline workers, all the sacrifices they're making, all of that stuff, so let's just make sure first. I just want to make sure that we're separating these two things. So we're talking about the industry, the economy, and all that stuff. But what's going to happen here is, like you said, the people that are forward thinking, the people that are willing to try new things, willing to work on, solve problems, find new niche, figure out ways that they can help their customers as opposed to just being the service provider, that it becomes a partnership with their customers. The folks that are doing these, the Here for Good thing that we talked about last week, they're building relationships that are going to carry on, after this is done. So they're helping this business out right now, but they're also building a partnership and a relationship that is going to make their business stronger in the long run. So to me, that's who's going to be hurting are the people that are kind of cowering back, the people that are going, okay, I need to just, cut all of my overhead. I need to, just survive, go into survival mode. Yes, they're going to survive as people, but those are probably not the people that should be in business to begin with. And so, it is going to shake out that, I don't want to call it riffraff, because it's not riffraff. It's just the reality of it, that to be an entrepreneur, to be a business owner, it's hard work. It's not for the faint of heart. And, you can do it and you will do it if you want to do it, but that's your choice. You have to make those decisions for yourself, and you can't, the world is not happening to you. You need to happen to the world and do your part to help. So,
well, and Aaron, in good times, there are so many businesses that succeed despite themselves.
Yeah.
they probably shouldn't be succeeding, and unfortunately, or fortunately, this is when those folks shake out. This is when the cream rises to the top, and so yeah.
Good. All right. Well, thank you for letting me jump up on my soapbox there. And okay, let's get to the comments here again. This is a regulators driven show. So we are utilizing Tanya, sorry, I always say her name wrong. Tanya, we are utilizing our laser for good and then getting some good press in return. That will help in the future. Also developing a blanks web store for sublimation and then a digital site as well. I think that's a really great point there. I was talking to Tom Rowan the other day, and he and I were discussing some of the things that we've seen. And his comment to me, which I've seen the same thing, is people were going, okay, well, I was going to do this new thing, put this new service, get my website up or whatever. And the plan was that was going to take, a year or 2 years, something like that. And then miraculously, they've now, out of necessity, got it done in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so those are the positive things that are coming out of this. These are things that we needed to do, but we just didn't have the time to do it.
Exactly right. Exactly. And Aaron, I was talking to a gentleman just recently, and he said, I was talking to him about a direct-to-garment printer, and he goes, how soon can I get this? Because I want to take this downtime and become an expert. Well, you know what? Guess what? Rather than sit on your hands and rock back and forth saying, woe is me, take advantage of this time and do those types of things. At Equipment Zone, obviously, sales are down for everybody. Mm-hmm. So what are we doing? Myself, Jay Bassell, Jeff Morgenthaler, Amy Krulowitz, there in the office. We're doing webinars at 2 or 3 a week and just doing education. And it's an opportunity for, hey, we're here. Let's people are home. Let's talk to them about how to improve their business on the far side of this, how to do some different things with their machines, and here's a perfect time to experiment. So, take advantage of this time and do something positive for yourself and for your business.
Nice. Okay, Chris Lassinger says this needs to make individuals and businesses more fiscally responsible. Absolutely. That's a good point. Jim says, I'm working on some masks to give to a few local businesses that are still open. So perfect. There you go. I can't tell you how many videos I've seen of people breaking out the sewing machine, people that have never sewn before in their lives, but they see a need, they want to do their part. so cool. I mean, it's just really
and the opportunities are everywhere because as many of you know, my son-in-law is a lieutenant in the Navy, formerly of USS Alabama. Now he's an instructor at the naval base there in Seattle, and they've all been instructed to take one of their T-shirts and make their own masks from it. So my daughter is making masks from my son-in-law's T-shirt, and not everybody has a crafty wife at home like my daughter, and so those folks might need some help. And again, it's part of the U.S. government. They have to make their own masks to come onto the naval base because it's because of the shortages. So
sure.
Hey, if you're close to a military base, maybe you can help them out.
Yeah, and everybody's doing these wonderful things where all of a sudden the margins are pretty small and there's not profit, but that's the cool part is that we've realized that we can maybe live on a little less profit and build relationships, build those relationships and
right.
So you may not be, rolling in cash today, but that stuff, it's all a cause and effect, So, all right. Jeff says, one thing everybody should be doing right now and not waiting for another day is reaching out to the people who hold the loans for any of the equipment they finance. You have a lot of leverage right now because of the uncertainty. If you want to talk to them about refinancing your equipment at lower rates over longer periods of time and perhaps deferments as time goes on and things get better, you're losing that leverage. So yeah, you have an opportunity to put yourself, heck, we actually got a call from our mortgage people, which was amazing to me. They've always been great. I mean, it's not, we've never had a lot of interaction with them. We send them our check every month, but they actually reached out and asked us, you guys doing okay? Can we do anything to help? Do you need us to defer this? So and I'm telling everybody I know about them. Their name's Mr. Cooper. That's the company that we have our mortgage through.
Does he have an office or is he just down on the corner?
they used to be Nation Star and they changed their name to Mr. Cooper. It was interesting. So that's been awesome. We're actually trying to get rid of our PMIs. So I'm like, nope, I can't. I got to make this payment to get rid of the PMI. But again, those kinds of things, what can you do that can help somebody else out? So Christine said, I was talking to the women in garment decorating group yesterday about press. Make sure you're reaching out to the local press with stories about things you're doing while this pandemic is happening. The media is looking for stories, especially stories that are positive. Help them create content by sharing your story. And I would take that one step further, Christine, and look at people like Impressions. They're looking for stories too, so that's more on a national level. So there's no reason not to do that. So.
Last week, Marcia Derryberry was on this show, and then she was in the cocktail party afterwards, saying that, hey, listen, if you've got something interesting or how you're dealing with this situation, reach out to us. We want to do a story about you and take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah. All right. So James says, I've turned on my 3D printers to help create the ear relief items for the mask for our first responders. Helps pass the time and helps those heroes out there. So again, all good things. And that can be press, like Christine says, there's a difference between trying to remain profitable and profiteering, and doing those things is not profiteering.
Aaron, it's pretty awesome too, the way this decorators community has reached out to one another and willing to help and sharing ideas and it's I guess we don't always appreciate what a great community that we all live and work in, and a lot of incredible people and people reaching out and wanting to help. So
no, it is really it. And that's, I guess, again, the silver lining is coming out of this is the things that we've taken for granted. We're now going, oh, wow, yeah, this is really amazing and cool. So, I know for me, it makes me want to step up and do more. So, that's a good point. Celeste says, this is a major event that people will look years down the line for memorabilia, and products, especially funny themed products that will give memories of the not so bad parts and the crazy things that have happened, like toilet paper shortages. My all-time favorite shirt is the shirt given during the nurses only play cards game time. And it says, Louisiana nurses never fold. and it's holding a card. It's the best. So, cool. I'd love to see that one. That one looks awesome. Yeah, I mean, think about that kind of stuff. The memories. So a lot of the seniors this year are not going to be able to have the same memories that we had when we graduated high school.
I've been seeing on Facebook people posting their senior picture online, and congratulations to the 2020 seniors. And heck, there's when I was younger and much younger than much before you guys were around. During the Vietnam War, all the schools closed after the Kent State shootings, and I know that 25 years later, I graduated from Ohio University. They had a special graduation for all those seniors that were sent home the day after the Kent State shootings that didn't get to graduate. And this is history just repeating itself, over and over and over again. So
sure. But think about that though. Like my wife, for example, her business, her whole mission and goal is to share a smile. And, so she's come up with a program where if your seniors out there, obviously she does personalized gifts. So there's a memory that can be created, so that she's come up with a whole graduation line of products, but also she's come up with a way through watching what we're doing and stuff like that, that if you qualify for this, you can actually have a virtual celebration that her business is going to host for you, basically give you the tools to be able to do that. So, they can invite 100 people. She's going to use Zoom like we're doing with the virtual cocktail hour. And, it's just, again, a way, how can you give back? How can you do more? How can you help? So over at weheart.biz, I'm pretty proud of her for putting that together.
That's awesome.
All right. So Christine says adaptation is the name of the game. And that's true whether you're having a pandemic or not. You have to be willing to change what you do to meet the needs of your customers.
Your business changes, your market changes, the way you do business changes. And Aaron, a lot of times when I've gone in for consultations with companies, I'll say, well, why do you do it like this?
Yeah.
And the answer is, well, we always have. And sometimes you have to take a step back and say, do I still need to do it this way? Well, here is just the perfect time to deal with that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Bill Hood, Bill, thank you for joining us. Great to see you here. Bill says because of the low entry costs, the screen printing technologies will be inundated with a growth pattern by those who lost their jobs during the pandemic. And
Bill, that is an excellent point because I teach screen printing classes, and Bill, you're a longtime instructor as well. My classes are always overflowing during times like this because all those folks who say, never again, this isn't going to happen to me again. I want to control my own destiny and start my own business. And these times like this is when they're waiting lists to come to my screen printing classes. So Bill, excellent point, Bill.
Yeah, definitely. Jan says, those of us who survived 2008 to 2010 just have to remember those days. It was a time of creative reinvention of our businesses. Get up and do the work. Spend your days wisely.
Get up and do the work. Jan,
yep.
Excellent.
Todd, spend your days wisely. Get off of Tiger King. I had to throw that jab in there, Todd. I'm sorry. All right. So Dean says working on a virtual 5K. Now that is super cool. I want to know about that. So yeah, if you got a link or any information that you can share with the group, that sounds really cool.
Deborah Sexton was posting something about doing that yesterday. She's a big time runner and talking about doing some virtual runs. And I thought that was a really interesting idea. Deborah Sexton, for anybody who doesn't know, was formerly the editor of Impressions magazine and well known in the industry as a freelance writer for a lot of the things that you read out there in the world that says from this company or that company. Yeah, Deborah wrote that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she is a PR machine. So
indeed.
Christine says, I think that's been one of the amazing things that a lot of companies in the industry have done, created a ton of educational materials for their customers. Right. It's amazing the opportunities to learn that are available right now. Kessa says, we are busy printing congratulation banners for high school seniors. Yeah, that's a great thing to be doing. I mean, I wish that I would have gotten into the sign industry at this point, but probably not.
I love Kessa's picture, by the way, next to her, her name.
I didn't. Hold on, Eric. Would you? Oh, nice, nice. Okay, I didn't see it. That's cool. Very cool. So Jan says, "Geez, hey Terry, can we send them some?" I can't remember what part we were talking about.
About the probably about the mask. You know what? Let me ask, and I'll get back on that. That for
yes, thank you.
The naval. Well, my son-in-law is a naval officer, but I'm sure anybody there on the base is in need. So
okay, all right. Kelly, the Crystal Ninja says, "Hubby just refi got 2.62. That's pretty darn amazing." I thought I was killing it at 3.25, but wow, I maybe do need to call Mr. Cooper back.
Get down to the corner, Mr. Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper. Hey, buddy. All right, Jeff says an update on my shop redecorating project because yes, he's been listening in from top of the ladder before, and we told him we didn't want to be responsible for him
so
earning
nothing's
himself.
shocking.
Yeah. Ceiling is down. That was the picture I sent last week. One wall painted. Everything's been rehung. I only used 5 gallons of paint. 3 more walls in the retail area, and then 4 in the storage area, and the place will be beautiful. Sweet. Yeah,
4 gallons on the wall, 1 gallon on the floor.
That's funny. All right. Christine's when I mentioned about impressions and stuff like that, Christine says, yeah, I mentioned the national press when I was doing the live yesterday and mentioned impressions specifically since I heard about that at the cocktail party. All right. So what else did I miss here? Oh, Christine says, one of the major benefits of this situation is the connection being made. I think a lot of people are finding out how much support and how many friends they have in the industry.
Exactly right. It's been incredible. It's heartwarming, really.
Yeah. Definitely. And then Eric says, home-based embroidery, those prosumers become pros that I've harped on about. They are stepping up and making it happen now. And Jan is always right, Lenora says. So.
Jan is always right.
Lenora, this is a very good question. Why is it always tigers? Remember tiger blood.
That's right. I've got tiger blood.
And then Todd says,
with tigers.
I don't know. Todd says, wait till we have a tiger in a trade show booth. So apparently, I don't remember this, but Jimmy Lamb loves to tell the story about when him and Ed were at Hirsch, and they actually I don't know if they had it or they were trying to have a tiger in their booth at one point. So we'll have to get Jimmy back to talk about that.
Or they thought they had a tiger in their booth. There's that possibility as well, knowing Jimmy and Ed.
They may have been a few margaritas deep at that point. So
he does pride himself. While we are connoisseurs of the chicken wing, Jimmy and Ed are connoisseurs of the margarita. So.
Exactly. Yes. If you ever want to know where a good margarita is in any town, anywhere, reach out to Jimmy Lamb or Ed. I can't remember Ed's last name.
Ed Levy.
Thank you, Ed Levy. Yeah. All right. Todd says we just got an order for close to 200 banners for seniors. Awesome.
Fantastic. That's awesome.
Yeah. Bill says. Go ahead, Terry.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
We'll do Bill's and then I'll let you jump in there. Bill said to help those who are under quarantine and not receiving paycheck, I lowered all items on screenprintbooks.com to $1 so that people can spend their downtime learning.
Fantastic,
nice, Bill.
Good job,
Thanks,
Bill.
Man.
That's awesome.
Okay. Go ahead, Terry.
I was just gonna comment about how businesses have changed, Aaron, and maybe for the better. And I've been a work from home guy on and off for my entire career. And when I went to work for Equipment Zone, 9 years ago, I moved to New Jersey. That's right, America, New Jersey.
Wow.
And by the way, don't call it Jersey because people in Bergen County are really offended by that. It's New Jersey. Okay, whatever. But Aaron, it's been a long time since you've had to say, okay, well, now you've offended a certain number of our audience members. I know.
I wasn't sure if I was just trying to be nicer or if you stopped offending people.
I think I did, and we need to go back to our roots. So when I lived in Jersey, about 2 years in, I decided that I want to go back to Phoenix, and when I talked to Harry Oster, the owner of Equipment Zone, he'd been running that business with everybody in the office for 30 years, and I said, I'm going to go back to Phoenix, and I don't know what that means for our working relationship. And after he considered for about 2 weeks, and and realized I really was going to the airport. Well, you've got all your stuff. Are you really leaving today? He made me the offer to work from home, and I think it was the hardest thing he ever did. And after it happened, well, now there are 5 or 6 people at Equipment Zone who work from home almost exclusively, and because it was an opportunity for him to say, "Wait a minute, this does work." You know, people do go out there and get up in the morning like myself, and I get dressed and I go to work. I come from over there to over here. But I go to work, and then you know, it's somebody will call me up and say, "Well, okay, I'm taking my lunch in an hour, so let me call you back then." And it's like, "What? Don't you work from home?" I do, but I take my lunch in an hour. But you know, and I think this is going to be something that people are going to realize, because I mean, my son Chris lives in Manhattan, so obviously he can't leave the house. He works for Dropbox, and he told me just a couple of days ago, he said, we were just notified that all of us, everybody at Dropbox, will be working from home for at least 2 more months. And I think it makes people realize, hey, you know what? This does work. We were forced into it, but you know, maybe work from home for a sales. I mean, hey, if you're doing production, you got to be there doing production, right? But if you're an artist, if you're a salesperson like myself, if you're a marketing person, you don't have to be sitting in an office. And especially today, I mean, I have so many video conferences and chats and meetings that they do ask me sometimes, are you wearing long pants? And the answer, by the way, is always never. I'm always wearing shorts, probably flip-flops, but I do put on a polo.
There you go. Dress up day. Well, you know, the interesting part about that too, Terry, is that, you know, you've got, yes, it becomes, but think about also the ramifications for those companies that are finally able to embrace this stuff. Think about the cost savings, you know, that they don't need the huge buildings and all of that overhead of keeping that building up, and, you know, desks, and, you know, so that certainly there is always an effect of some sort, but you know, it's all cyclical. So, excuse me. Right. So, you know, definitely. All right. So Terry, we've got to make some decisions on the fly here, because we didn't even get into part 2. So the decision here, because, you know, the big thing we wanted to talk about was what do we think it actually looks like on the other side of this? And I know we've hinted around at it. We've talked about a few things, but the comments from our regulator family here have been so amazing that I don't think we really got into that. So do we say, okay, this is part 1, and 2 weeks from now, part 2?
I think we have to go part 2, mainly for me, because I have an appointment that I have to get to as soon as we're done here. So
okay, all right. Well, let's catch one more comment from Lenora here, and there was a lot of other great comments. In fact, Lenora said that there was actually a tiger at Long Beach, and Todd said that tiger cubs equal a bigger draw than inflatable couch. What about a tiger cub? What about a tiger cub with an inflatable couch? What kind of a draw would that be?
I think that only works on day 1.
Yeah, that's a good point. You'd have to bring a couple of
inflatable couches. Yeah.
All right. So actually, back to what Lenore had said. In all seriousness, I'm interviewing my niece, who's been a telecommuter for a healthcare company for 4 years. This may change company business models forever. That will change needs, and we need to adapt. So, yeah. So anyhow, part 2 on the 24th.
Let's do that. You know, Aaron, I have a good friend who's a professor at University of Massachusetts, and I used to edit a magazine for him. It's Soil, Sediment, and Groundwater. It's not nearly as interesting as it sounds, everyone. It's about remediation, cleaning up soil, sediment, and groundwater, and it's geared to EPA folks and stuff like that. But
sure.
After 20 years, he called me the other day and said, he goes, Terry, you know, my 2 conferences, I had to cancel my San Diego conference, and I'm thinking that we need to fire up the magazine again. And so there are business opportunities out there to be had. And so that's something he and I are working on, and to do some specialty articles and magazines. And it'll be an online magazine rather than a print magazine that he and I used to put together. And it was very funny though, because I hadn't talked to him in many years, and he called and he goes, TC, is this still your phone number? We need to talk. So you know, put your thinking cap on and think about opportunities and think about we as educators, Aaron. This is an opportunity as well, and there's a lot of new education going on out there, and we need to maybe kind of regroup on how we do things. But I agree. Part 2 in 2 weeks.
Okay, April 24th, part 2, and Jeff says pajamas instead of polos. Very nice.
You don't know what pants I'm wearing.
All right. Well, I'm not going to ask you to stand up so we can find out. All right, cool. Well, let's, So part 2, April 24th. Thank you guys. Regulators showed up in force like we had expected. You guys are amazing. So high fives to you guys. And Terry, nice job. Thanks for getting us there. Our outline had a whole lot more in it. So
I think we covered maybe 3 points in our outline, and we have another page. So so tune in 2 weeks. We have a lot to talk about.
Yes, we do. All right. Well, upcoming here, a couple of things here that I wanted to share. Our intrepid producer, man behind the scenes here, the Batman, as we like to call him over in the Business Basics group, because he's a master of many things, including digitizing. So speaking of digitizing, his webinar that he did was a huge success, demystifying next level digitizing. And so that is now available in recorded format. It's one of Eric's most popular classes from the trade show floor. It's about better running bolder, more beautiful embroidery with a faster cycle from concept to completion. And you can sign up for that over at bit.ly/EricDD, and that's ERICHDD. So definitely check that out. And his virtual seminar is going to be happening here soon. So if you visit daxshow.com and go to Treasure Island and seminars to sign up for both the Treasure Island show and the virtual online version of the seminars, Eric is teaching all about specialty threads and debating digitizing. In fact, his long seminar is going to be a part of that too. So if you go over
Aren't
to
all Eric's seminars long? All right, man. I've been on you today.
He has been just throwing shade.
Just gonna go blank. Can you say?
Yeah. And then the other thing we want to make sure you guys are checking out. Eric has been putting on a program called the Take Up, and that is happening at 2:30 Mountain Time. Who knows what time that is here? No, 3:30 Central, 4:30 Eastern. So that's called the Take Up, and that's happening today. And today it's all about patches. So you can catch that at facebook.com/embroideryeric. Terry, what about you?
Well, my scheduling and estimating production time for screen printers 4-part series is going to begin May 5th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be every Tuesday through May. So you can find out about that at decorators.education/SEPT. It looks like September, but it's scheduling and estimating production time.
Me and my acronyms.
On Saturday, May 23rd, I'll be presenting on being a great screen printer, great in capital letters, great screen printer at Dax, Minnesota. I'm going to be doing that exact same presentation on April 15th online through daxshow.com. And so anybody who's signed up for that seminar in Minnesota will be able to tune in, and you guys can go to Dax Show, no S at the end, Dax Show, DAX.com to sign up for that as well. My upcoming complete screen printing business course. I'm going to be at Workhorse Products in Phoenix, June 6th and 7th, D-Day. I'm going to be at Atlas Screen Supply in Chicago, June 27th and 28th. And all my 2020 classes and events are yet again updated. I just keep shuffling things around on there. You can find that at terrycombs.com under the tab tour dates. How about you, Aaron?
So our success group is going strong, and we've had some great trainings. Just finished one up on the 1st of April, and on the 15th we have our next training session coming up. It's all about shipping, as people are getting into more e-commerce business and a lot less face-to-face. Lots of questions about shipping and how to manage that, and how to set it up, and what to use, and yada yada yada. So we've got a program coming up on the 15th over at oursuccessgroup.com that you can sign up for, called Shipping Made Easy. Todd likes to call it Ship Happens. But so
Doesn't sound anything like Todd.
yeah, exactly. So that's happening on April 15th, and you can go sign up for that as an individual training class, or if you want to become a member, we've got monthly and annual memberships available over there. And then coming up after that, we're going to get into the next 5 key series that we did. We started off the year with 5 keys to launching and growing your business. And this next 5 keys series is going to be about the opportunity to business plan. So we're going to talk about business planning, but planning your way to success is basically what we're calling it there. So if you want to check that out over at oursuccessgroup.com/5keys. And and then I will be also presenting it'd be fun to produce and present my webinar. So actually my wife's going to be doing it with me. We're going to be talking about starting in e-commerce, what works and what didn't. I believe we're on the 20th of April. So I've been so busy scheduling everybody else that I keep forgetting about when I've got to do mine.
And I was the first to sign up, Scott. I hope you pay attention to that.
He was.
DAX.
He was. So good stuff. So so check that out again, daxshow.com to check all of that out. And Todd says ship happens. All right. So that's what's going on. Decorators community, virtual cocktail hour, so the DAX party happening on April 17th. So more information will be up at tworegularguys.com/party. That'll be up later today. And then look for an email from the DAX folks as well. All right, Terry. Well, I think we've done a good job. We got to get you off to your appointment here next week. And I pulled up the chat here, so I got a little more information. Next week, Christine Shreve is going to be taking over the mics again for the Women in Garment Decorating Industry podcast that we and she has got everything all worked out. And so it will not be me hosting, thank goodness. It'll actually be a really good show. So that's April 17th. The panelists are Allison Banholzer, Tanya, and Tanya, I'm not even going to attempt your last name right now because I will butcher it massively. So we'll get that next week. And then Jillian, and they're going to be talking about, and I got to get to that part here, selling in a time of crisis. We're going to talk about how people are conflicted about selling, how to know whether or not you should sell, how to handle people who say you shouldn't, whether this is a people issue or a women issue, and more. So going to be a great conversation next week with Christine and her crew there. Christine has also got some new stuff that she's doing out there. So Christine, feel free to throw some of those podcasts and blogs. And Christine has been busy. So lots of good stuff coming up there from Christine. So we'll talk more with her about that next week.
All right. Well, hey, Aaron, we also want to thank our producer, Eric Campbell. Eric does a lot to help keep this show going. And thanks, by the way, Eric, for being a good sport today. We also want to thank our sponsor, Impressions Expo. And Aaron, I think we're here at the end. So until then, until next week, I'm Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery.
And we are the Two Regular Guys. Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.